Good evening. Welcome. I'm Beric Livingstone and I am wearing black because I am expecting to lose many of you in the course of this show because tonight on HQ Trivia, it's the first ever Savage Saturday. That means all savage questions all the time. For the uninitiated, we call it savage when a question eliminates a big proportion of players, either unexpectedly or because we designed it to be tough, punishing, impenetrable. Savage. So tonight, there are questions that caught you out on previous shows, as well as brand new ones that only the best of the best will get right. The prize pot is still £1,000, and you can still win or split it by getting all 12 questions correct. But my guess is, with this much savagery, there'll only be a few left standing by Q12. That'll mean a bigger share of the prize for the winners, if we get any winners. If we don't, this 1,000 is rolling over to next week's Savage Saturday, and will continue like that till someone scoops it all. Tactically, this is a good game to have an extra life ready for. You can use them on any question except Q12, but deploy them wisely, because you can only use one per game. Okay, to quote Johnny Depp, I feel it. It's coming. Sauvage. Here's Q1. Who co-wrote the Rihanna song Diamonds? Andrew Lloyd Webber, Calvin Harris, Sia. Rihanna's went #1 with this song in more than 20 countries. Her 12th at #1 on the US Billboard Hot 100. Now, he's worked with everyone, but Calvin didn't have a hand in this chart topper. The Phantom of the Popera herself, it's Sia. And I'll see ya and I'll raise ya. 20,075 of you getting right. The first savage question of the day. Sizzling sausages. I told you it would be savage. And it was. Riri may sing the song, but it was written by Sia, Benny Blanco, and Stargate. No, not that Stargate. Q2. Which animal was a companion of Edgar Allan Poe while he wrote? Cat, dog, raven. Edgar Allan Poe wrote of puns. It has been said that those who dislike them most are least able to utter them. We're not afraid of a pun or two here on HQ. The master of macabre may have written about a raven, but he never kept one as a pet. Taking itself for walks, it was a cat. Or a poshi, as Sean Connery might have called it. 9,066 of you getting that right. Yes, it's a second savage question. Une question sauvage en question deux. It seems Poe achieved the impossible, owning a cat and getting anything done. All right, already eliminated like 90% of you. Tomorrow night's our big game. Sharon will be hosting, and it'll be a regular mix of questions. We're not carrying on the savage thing forever. It'll be too much for my nerves or anyone else's to stand. It'll be a regular mix of questions with a much bigger prize pot, so tune in for that. Q3. Who launched the first ever Topshop? John Lewis, Raymond Burton, Joseph Hepworth. Topshop, the first high street brand to exhibit at London Fashion Week. We did a little fashion thing on Thursday. The mighty Bush may have made it cool again, but who made Topshop cool in the first place? Taking a leaf out of his father's book, it was Raymond Burton, son of Sir Montague Burton. 6,242 of you getting that one right. So maybe not so savage on this one. Okay, don't get smug. Ironically, the first London Topshop was opened in the basement of Peter Robinson in Oxford Circus, which was owned by Burton at the time. Q4. The star of which programme once appeared in a special episode of Magnum PI? Columbo, Murder, She Wrote, Hawaii 5-0. That house in Magnum, the Robin's Nest, it went up for sale back in 2014, 15.75 million. Didn't sell till the following year for about half the price, and then they had to demolish it because it had fallen into such disrepair. Tragic. Anyway, Magnum PI was based in Hawaii, but the 5-0 were a no-show for this one. The queen of keyboard detectives, it was Jessica Fletcher from Murder, She Wrote, and 2,690 if you're getting that right. We lost over half of you, but we still won't say that's savage. We'll say a little bit beastly. A lot of you, like me, watching daytime TV and may have seen that episode. Okay. I love Jessica Fletcher, the queen of the off-camera look. She may have been on vacation, but Jessica was not going to turn down Tom Selleck, was she? All right, Q5. The Neander Valley, site of one of the earliest fossil discoveries, is in which continent? Asia, Europe, Africa. Now, this is a very interesting question. A lot of fossil discoveries, of course, have been made, and in this case, they thought the earliest fossil discovery was in 1859. Turned out they'd discovered an earlier fossil back in 1829, they just hadn't recognised it. This is where the first Neanderthal skeleton was discovered, but where did he take his final steps? The continent that provided us with, well, us, it's Europe. Europe, and you're up there with the winners if you are amongst the 1,049 who got that right. 2,080 eliminated. Very, very beastly. We won't call that one savage, but the skeleton spent 40,000 years in the German Valley, well and truly winning that game of hide and seek. All right, 342 people using those extra lives to get back in. As we go on to Q6. What do camels primarily store in their humps? Fat, salt, or water? Camels who can close their nostrils if a sandstorm comes, a very useful skill to have. And the word camel comes from the Arabic word for beauty. Guess it's in the eye of the beholder. We make them carry all kinds of bits and bobs, but what are camels already carrying on their backs? More of a plump than a hump, it's fat. Fat, take that. 795 of you getting that right. Lost nearly half. Yeah, quite beastly. We'll do anything to lose fat ourselves, but camels carry it around as an emergency energy source. Some shout-outs now. To Tabitha, hello. To Ryan, Benj, Jack and Elliot. To Lindsay, hi from India Rose. And to Michelle and Joe from Blackburn. Good luck to all of you if you're still in the game. Q7. Which of these directors has been nominated for a Razzie as Worst Director? Eli Roth, Steven Spielberg, Stanley Kubrick. The Razzies started in someone's living room in LA, now on their 38th season. These are three Hollywood heavyweights, but who's the only one to have received this low blow? From Space Odyssey to Razzie nominee, it was Stanley Kubrick. Yeah, he got nominated that year. 542 of you getting that right. That surprised me. Yeah, he got nominated that year, but it was actually won by the director of Xanadu, which, I mean, Xanadu's a classic, so they're pretty mean, these Razzies. It may be seen as a masterpiece now, but they really didn't like The Shining when it first came out, and that was why he was nominated. Q8. What does the letter G stand for in the Apgar test, used to assess the health of small babies? Gums, grimace, growth. This was invented in 1952 in New York by an anesthesiologist. If you're playing HQ, then you've already passed this test. Keep your grin to yourself, though, as the G stands for grimace. Grimace, the right answer. 413 of you knew it was grimace. That's impressive. That is impressive. Yeah, basically, they try and see if you're going to react to stimuli, and if you grimace or cry, then you're on more a normal end of the spectrum than if you don't react at all. Basically, they're trying to force babies to cry. Mean. Invented by Virginia Apgar, we're all lucky that her name is an acronym, or rather a backronym, for appearance, pulse, grimace, activity and respiration. Onwards to Q9. Anna Wintour controversially featured what on her first US Vogue cover? Nothing, denim jeans, a tank. Anna Wintour, on whom Meryl Streep allegedly based her Devil Wears Prada character. She's been the Vogue editor for 30 years, but what was controversial about Anna's first cover? Borderline offensive, the model was wearing denim jeans. So cash, 265 of you getting that right. We lost a little bit under two-thirds, or a third rather, but this was not a savage question, just a touch beastly, just a little edge of meanness. The casual look was a massive step away from previous covers, ditching the glitz and glamour it was famous for. Okay, 3 to go. Let's see where this goes. 23 people using extra lives to get back in. Q10. Which famous actor has published a novel based on an old Irish myth? Daniel Day-Lewis, David Duchovny, Sean Penn. Lovely old Irish myths. We mostly have the kind of post-Christian versions from the 11th or 12th century that have a lot of their original religious connotations taken out. The novel we're after was well received, so that's Sean Penn out of the running. Famous for chasing myths, but even better at writing them, it's David Duchovny. Yeah, the truth was out there. 256 of you got that right. There's a kind of core of brilliant people there, 250 or so of you, escaping doom every time. Interesting. Miss Subways is a modern take on the legend of Ema, with some supernatural stuff thrown in. Q11. Who was the first US president to travel outside the country while in office? Theodore Roosevelt, Thomas Jefferson, Woodrow Wilson. Now, Jackson was the first one to take a railroad trip. Ulysses Grant, I think it was, that was the first president to see the Pacific Ocean. But who was the first president to go international? Popping next door to Panama in 1906, it was Theodore, or Teddy, Roosevelt. 219 of you getting that right. Okay then. One more savage to go. Passports at the ready, because we're jetting into the final round. 8 people using extra life to get back in there. £1,000 still to play for. How few will we make it as we go on to Q12? Which of these landmarks was bought and sold during World War I? Blackpool Tower, Stonehenge, the Tower of London. A monumentally tricky question for Q12. You're unlikely to find any of them on eBay, but who was auctioned off in 1915? Well, this monument did not become a UNESCO World Heritage Site till the 80s, but one Cecil Chubb bought it as a present for his wife, although she genuinely told him she wanted curtains instead. Well, he then bequeathed it for a nominal fee to the nation and he became a baronet, the first baronet of this area for his trouble. Listed as very, very used, it's Stonehenge for the win. And Stone the Crows, we have 121 winners tonight. 121, eh? So, was that not savage enough for you? Are you saying you want us to make it harder? Because we can, you know. We can make it so hard that only the top of the Mensa Stream class can possibly be expected to get it. Only people who can Google faster than lightning or have time machines could possibly win. If you want us to take it up to the next level, then we can do that. Tune in next week. But meanwhile, huge congratulations are due to our 121 winners. £8.26 or £8.27 for your trouble. That was your first foray into the Badlands of super savagery. How did you find it? Tweet me up and tell me. I'm Beric Livingstone. You can find me at Beric Living. You can find our main account at HQ Trivia UK. We're back tomorrow with a big game of £5,000 prize pot and a whole range of tricky trivia questions with Queen Shazza in the chair. Join us then. But for now, from me, grrr.